Bianca, thank you so much for joining me today. You've had quite an interesting career so far. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yep. So I started in commercial law. I did my articles year, as it was then called, at a mid-sized commercial firm in the CBD. So through that I got exposure to family law, commercial litigation, property law, taxation, succession planning, and I did another 18 months after I got admitted to practice with that same firm. It was a really enjoyable experience. I learnt a lot about basic legal skills and transactional work, and those are skills that I carry through with me today. I got to around 2.5 years in private practice and wanted to see what else a legal career could offer me. And I saw that the Office of Public Prosecutions was advertising for lawyers. I had minimal criminal law experience, but I thought that was something that I really wanted to look into. So I applied and never looked back. I was there for 6 years. So that was a really, really great experience. That was being involved in murder trials, county court trials, court appearance work, a lot of stakeholder engagement, which I found really, really interesting. And I was lucky enough to have a mentor in that organisation who steered me in the right direction. He got me involved in some boards outside of work as well, and really took an interest in progressing my career. So I did that for 6 years, and then I thought from a career progression point of view, I need to go and do something else, but still in crime. And then an opportunity to work in the Specialist Crime Lawyers Unit at Victoria Police came up. It was a promotion, and it meant that I was taking a step back from court work to assisting investigators right at the very beginning of an investigation. Working in a police station effectively, which is something that I hadn't done before, and that's a role that I'm still doing today. And recently I've had the opportunity to step up into a management role, which has been a great experience for me, completely different to anything that I've ever done in an employment capacity before, but I'm really enjoying it. Lots of challenges, but I'm getting through every day, and it's been great.
You've worked in both private practice and in government now. Can you tell us your experience across both the private practice and government fields?
Yep. So private practice I think was a really great place for me to start. It meant with time recording that I got really good experience with time management very early on in my career, and also management of client expectations in a commercial environment. So that was great. I also got to work with a lot of senior partners that are still very well regarded in their fields today, and it certainly gave me a great foundation for the legal career that I have today. In terms of government, I've had to develop a slightly different skill set. A lot of that is because I've gone from commercial law into criminal law. The way that files are run in criminal law is completely different to commercial. It's a lot of management of expectations of police, of complainant and other stakeholders in the criminal justice system. In terms of government as well, there's a lot of opportunities in the bigger organisations to move around, I've found, into different practice areas. So for example, at Victoria Police, not only do we have specialist crime lawyers, we have family violence advocates, employment law, civil law, counter-terrorism, and all under the legal services banner, which means that now it's relatively easy to move around if you're looking at a different practice area.
Have you found that your skill set you learnt in private practice is transferable into government?
Absolutely. So especially with the basic transactional skills, that's something that's really transferable across any area of legal practice. And as I said before, there's, those skills I can draw on in any area, so that's been really good.
For you, what was it that made you go into government and leave private practice?
I think I was looking for a new challenge, and I wanted to see what else a career in the law could offer for me. When I made the change, I was still relatively early on in my career, which I think was the best time for me to make that move into a completely different practice area, and also from the private sector into the public service. I was after a new challenge. I wanted to engage with other people in the legal profession, which I've certainly been able to do through criminal law. I've worked with some great people there. And I think for me, just the timing was right. And when I saw the position at the OPP initially advertised, it just came at exactly the right time for me, and I just knew that it was something that I had to do.
Yeah. How did you get your opportunity at VicPol?
I initially saw the position advertised on the Victorian Careers government website, but after I saw it, a number of people who knew that I was interested in moving into a different organisation contacted me and suggested that that was something that I should apply for. So I did, and I think the fact that I had worked at the OPP prior to that was certainly something that held me in good stead in terms of my application.
Yeah. Was it a long process from the time you submitted your application to actually securing the position?
Yes, it was. So I think I applied for the position in April, and I didn't start until August.
Yeah.
So that included going through the initial shortlisting process, the interview, being offered the position, but then also having to undergo security clearance checks as well before I could formally accept the position.
Okay. What's for anyone, I suppose, going through that process of going into government, for the interview side of things, what's some advice you'd give them?
I think for me, one of the things I've learnt with interviews over the years is just to relax.
Yeah.
Don't think that it's the be-all and end-all of your career, particularly in government interviews where you're interviewing internally, and a lot of the time the people on the panel are people that you know.
Yeah.
It can actually be quite unnerving to have to sit there and sell yourself in front of people who know what you can do. So just relax, take a deep breath, and remember that the absolute worst case scenario is that you get interview experience.
Yeah. That's good advice.
Yeah.
You're also a part of lots of committees. How has that helped you with your career, and what committees are you a part of?
So the committee work that I do in my own time has helped me to meet a lot of people outside of my usual practice area. So for a number of years when I was based down at Geelong, I was a part of the Law Institute Regional and Suburban Young Lawyers Committee. So I was chair of that committee in Geelong and also chair of that committee across Victoria. So that meant that when I went to court, I knew a lot of different people. I also could see what else was out there in terms of career opportunities. And then in terms of the Victoria-wide side of things, got to meet a lot of people in Melbourne and also in other regions across Victoria. At the moment, I am the co-chair of the Victorian Women Lawyers Women in Government Committee. That's been a great move for me, especially transitioning from working in Geelong to the Melbourne CBD. I've been able to meet a lot of people and great women across different government departments. And I've also been able to pursue my side passion, which is event management. So we've, through Victorian Women Lawyers and also the LIV, I've organised a number of events. It's something that I really enjoy doing and I take a lot of pride in. So that's certainly been something that's complemented my legal skills. In terms of how it's assisted my career generally, outside of the networking side of things, I've recently stepped into a management role, and so I think having that experience of chairing the committees has helped me to understand a little bit better how to manage people, to have insight into other people and how they might perceive different situations, and also, I guess, how to manage tasks effectively.
For lawyers looking to transition from a private practice into a government role, what's some advice you would give them?
The main piece of advice would be to just do it and make the decision and to back yourself. It's not necessarily the easiest decision to move from somewhere where you're in your comfort zone, you know what you're doing, you know everyone, into the unknown, especially moving from private practice into government. But the best thing that you can do is just, once you've made the decision, just go for it and don't look back. And that's certainly something that has helped me over my career. It's still something that I'm working on to this day. But just have that confidence to know that you know what's best for your career and just take that leap.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for joining me today, Bianca. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you.